Hi, welcome to the Guns Contractors video where we finally get the 4CX. Here she is. Now, I've got to walk you around this machine. There's been a lot going on with this and there's a lot of things to talk about. So, come and have a look around the machine with me. Obviously, it's a 4CX Pro. That gives you a lot of spec options as well, but I've up-spec'd it from there with my own options and it's a millionth edition. So, we've got yellow buckets, hydraulic quick hitch, bi-directional pipe work. All of this is standard Pro stuff. We've also got extra work lights on the boom. They're both sides now, so you actually get light directly down to the bucket, which, to be honest, I think all these machines should come with. It's a really good idea. All this is LED. Obviously, all the LED lights. We've got the extra LED light package on this. It has everything. Power slide. I didn't have that on my old machine. I've gone to power slide. It was something I really missed, actually, having to push the back actor across. It's just hard work, and if you're working on tarmac, it's very easy to damage the ground. So really excited to have the power slide. Obviously now the big tyres, the 4CX tyres, 450 wide, which is slightly less actually than the rear tyres on the 3CX, but of course you've got two of them and they're four-wheel steer and you can do crab steer. So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of uses for that and it should help with manoeuvrability. These are a big machine and they haven't got as good a turning circle as a 3CX does with the little wheels, but it's as good as it can be. The key for me is when you're pushing with the front bucket, these rear wheels will actually steer for you. So if you end up unweighting your fronts, you can still steer with your back wheels, which will be a massive advancement over my 3CX, where I was trying to use the fiddle brakes and you end up with your bucket veering off. Shouldn't do that anymore. Four-wheel steer. Also, hidden inside, limited slip diff. So we've got all the pushing power, all the traction. It should be an absolute monster, to be honest, on a lot of my work. Obviously, Millionth Edition gives you yellow cab frame, which is pretty unique to these machines, and I think looks really, really good. Really, really chuffed with that. I've gone with my logo. You'll notice on here I've kind of changed up my logo a little bit to kind of match the artwork that's on this machine in various places. So it's got just that sort of slightly more artistic style, which I just thought was a good little touch considering all of the hatch artwork that's on it. Which of course to throw back to the proper millionth 4CX that sat in JCB's reception. So my one won't do that. I have to put this thing to work. It's cost me way too much money to park it up. So again, big wheels at the front. It's got the big engine. We've got LED lights. These have come off the agriculture telehandlers. It's a massive improvement, I think. The old sort of halogen headlights, they're okay, but they just end up lighting up the front bucket. These should prove to be much better on the road for forward visibility. Although now, of course, with the yellow front shovel, which, as you know, I've been a big fan of the old yellow front shovel, proper throwback to the 90s machines here. I expect those lights will just light up the back of that and it'll be shining me in the face. But anyway, I'll be pleased to look at it because yellow buckets are for the win. I have gone for the full quick hitch system. So you take the bucket off, you've got the new easy forks. They now flip down. They're wider than the old hitch forks. And you've also got hydraulic locking. I've got the camera for the forks as well. I'll show you the screen in the cab in a minute. So you can actually see when you're using the forks, you don't have to like stand up in the cab and try and see over. You can now see everything from the screen in the cab. So that's another great little feature on these new machines. I'm also excited to, of course, use different attachments on here. That's the key. I've got bigger loader pipe work to this end to get more oil to the front. That's another spec option. And I should be able to therefore run more attachments on the front end, because the way I see this machine working for me and the way it's got to earn its money back is it's got to be able to run multiple attachments, be as maximum productivity and basically be like a Swiss Army knife, really. That's why I went for the backhoe over the wheeled excavator or the mini and the MIDI and the dumper. So also on the front end, got my mount for the pole, the laser guidance pole. I've spec'd that. I think I'll find some uses for it. It does have a little drawback with when the machine's not quite pitched level. It, of course, only tells you the level in the middle of the machine. But I think it could be handy, pushing out areas of crush, things like that. It's a very, very simple system to fit. I've already got a dual grade laser. So to me, for the couple of £100 that costs as an extra, it was worth going for. And we'll have a play with that in the future. So coming round, obviously it's got the new system of, it always had bucket sort of return to dig as they call it, but it now has return to grade, which is what this extra rod is for. So that's what that's on. This is the bigger pipe work here. There is one thing this machine is currently lacking, and it's part of the reason that we've had some issues, well, delays, should I say, from when it was made to where we are now. But it will have a handheld tool circuit. That's coming. There's been some delays. I'm confident JCB are going to sort it for me, and I will do a video on what the buying process of this machine's been, because God, it's had some highs and some lows, let's put it that way. But we're here today, and that is now, as it stands, the only thing left to go. So nearly there. I actually did forget, of course, got the extra front counterweight. That's something else I've spec'd, which is a heavier duty counterweight. And of course, I'm looking to use this machine free on wheels. So legs up as she is now, in dual drive, working around with that bucket on ditching and other work. That's where I really see, and another reason I went with the bigger machine. Bit more weight, bigger weight on the front end, bigger tyres. She should be a lot more stable at that kind of free on wheels duty. So yeah, otherwise it's got the lift kit on it. It's got the, so that's the bigger, it gets bigger rams and check valves for lifting. This thing will lift a good couple of ton at the end. I can't remember exactly the spec, but basically we've just gone for like maximum performance everywhere we can. And I hope this machine is going to be, well, it definitely will be, the flagship of my fleet, and it's going to provide the power that my little fleet of mini diggers needs to get these bigger jobs done. So for the next, well, at least 5 years, I'm sure Jarrett behind the camera will want to sell me a machine a little bit quicker than that, although I can't get rid of this baby. You'll have to paint me another yellow one. But yeah, certainly it's going to be the king of the guns contractors fleet for the next few years. Anyway, I'll just show you around the cab and some of the features in there as well. So there is one person that I've got to thank a lot for this deal, and he's been very accommodating of my stupid requests, crazy questions, ridiculous technical queries.
Bizarre ideas as well.
Yeah. Where's the bike rack? Is that coming?
That's on the way.
So anyway, my salesman Jarrett from Green Shields has hugely helped this whole process. We've had a bit of finance deal. We've got some attachments with this package, all of which have been wrapped up. And what did we start? The Groundworker Day, I think?
Groundworker Day was the first day.
Was that last year? Probably.
Maybe even the year before. It was 23, wasn't it? Something like that.
A while ago.
Factory day. Yeah.
So, and that's where this whole thing started. And I originally looked at the Groundworker Pro, and things weren't quite right at the time, but we got a sort of deal-ish together then. And then, of course, the millionth came, and I can't resist a yellow bucket.
Couldn't say no, I think, to be fair, Ronnie, in your defence, you built this machine. I didn't have to do much as a salesman. You told me what you wanted. You told me things I didn't even know existed on the machine. And you built it, and then it got made, didn't it? So, well,
we've all learnt something.
Yeah, that's it.
With this, so, even if we know now what a block heater is, which is I guess a Scandinavian spec for heating up your engine, preheating. I don't need it. We're in the south of England. We wear shorts all year, so we don't need that. But I thank you very much, because you've. This is a big day for me, sure, but I'm sure you're pleased to. Get it out of the yard, another sale done.
Later.
Next one.
Yeah, next
we're going to sell me next.
5 years' time. But no, there's many things I could sell you, but it's if you're going to buy them or not. That's the trouble. But no, again, thank you, Molly. Appreciate your business, and I think it's going to do you quite well. So,
yeah, we have to come out and see it.
100%.
Have a play.
Yeah, that's it. Come and get dirty.
Okay, so inside the cab of my new office. Of course, I have sat in here before in the factory, so this isn't my first time inside, but. It's great to sit on a machine as such. So again, we've gone for all the options. I'll just we'll get the machine going, fired up, because then we can show you all the features as such. I've gone for the coded key in this. You can have a chipped number pad as well, but I've got the unique kind of coded key. Fire her up. There she goes. She's all good. Right, so. Things we've got, obviously, at the front, got the new pedal down here, which makes it super easy to lift up the steering column as well. So that's a really nice touch the old one didn't have. And they've moved the dashboard up here. I don't need four-wheel drive on. This is my camera, which obviously currently shows the back of the bucket, because currently that's sort of what it's looking at. When you take the bucket off, that becomes your fork camera. Now, I have thought whether that actually might be a handy possible mod to have a reversing camera or one that faces the back, and then I can switch between them. So that might be a future mod that I'm thinking of, but you know, I got lots of ideas for all of that. I do have another screen, of course, over the back, which we'll show in a minute. Got the new fly-off handbrake here. That's super easy to do the handbrake now. It isn't the big old lever, and it makes it easier when you're in dual drive to operate. Although I'd still love to see it maybe up here a little bit more, but you know, it's an improvement certainly on the old one. Now the main features with this machine are the new controls. So we've got EH controls, which give you lots and lots of options, some of which I can't demonstrate in this environment here in front of Green Shields, because I'll probably smash through the reception, and I don't want to do that. So, but there are lots of advantages. Basically, you can now latch either the front or the back end, depending on which way you're facing. And you can do that with these things called advanced features. You can go through the screen, you can turn on these advanced features, and then that allows you to do such things as, they call it like debog. So you could then use the front loader to press down in the ground and kind of roll you out of trouble whilst pushing yourself at the back end. That's a real advantage. I see it being really handy when you're facing the front and you want to run, let's say, down a ditch line or something, and you just want to roll it that, you can actually latch the back end to work while you're facing the front, and you get a much softer beep now. So instead of the old system where you used to hold the button down whilst you did it, now once you've latched it, it stays latched, and you just get like a beep beep sort of every so often, and then you've got full control of the back end, which is like really, really good. The other thing they've done with the EH machines is you've got a different hydraulic pump setup, which I'm not 100% sure exactly how that works fully yet. I'm going to have a call with an engineer in the next sort of couple of weeks once I've got my head around it, to really understand what I can do and things, because I think there's some big potential with this new pump setup. But one thing JCB currently say is that you can now run the machine at a much lower RPM. So their current sort of setting when you're excavating the back end would be around 1500 RPM. That sort of be about where you'd set your hand throttle. But now with your eco mode on, you can run the back end a lot slower. So I think I have to latch where am I? I have to remember which one I'm on here. So that livens up my back end. So I think, yeah, you see, it's changed the setting here. So now I can operate it at like 1200 RPM for the back end instead of 1500. Now that should give me full, I'll try and do this whilst I'm, so I should have full hydraulic speed whilst operating at 1200 RPM, which will give me a lot more sort of fuel efficiency. And then if I want sort of power, or I need to run the breaker, I can switch it back to like the sort of full, out of eco mode. And it goes back to your normal sort of operating range. So you can still do full power, etc. But it basically just gives you I guess a more fuel efficient way to operate it. Now I do wonder whether I'll be able to operate at almost tick over and get full auxiliary power to the bi-directional pipework. For, let's say, if you were operating a flail or something like that, you'd get full power to a flail, whilst you'd then be able to just creep, of course, with your dual drive pedals along a hedge or a ditch or something like that. But we'll see. That's a question for the technical people. So I've also got, obviously, the legs. We've got auto stabilizing, they auto deploy, they auto retract. I've got my screen here, which is the camera on top of the roof on the front, and that shows me where my wheels are and my front bucket, which of course I can maneuver if I latch it's on the back of this joystick. Is it this one? No, it's this one. The back of this joystick, I can hold the button down, and I should now have, I think it's that way, I hold that. Maybe it's both I have to hold, hang on. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Right, okay, so now we're latched, right? So we've got the flashing, that's the buzzer you get. And you can see on the screen here, I should be able to move the front bucket up and down. Is that the crowd? Which way are we going? That's up and down. There we go. So I can now lift the front bucket, but I'm facing the back end. And you can see the front bucket rising there. Which, if you want to fast reposition or do something, I can also crowd it, sort of crowd it back round and tip it and all sorts. All handy things. But that's the buzzer you get, which is better than it was. So yeah, not gonna complain about that. I just unlatch myself. How do I do that? I think I hold it. There we go. We're back in normal mode. So, yeah, obviously bi-directional. We've got all the work light options. We've got ones on the front. We've got the ones on the back. We've got the boom lights, which that's the quick hitch. There you go. You can turn on my boom lights. Yeah, so loads of light options on this machine. Obviously the hydro clamp release for the power slide. Dual drive, which I'll cover in a video where I can actually drive it. Got a hydraulic quick hitch, obviously on the back end. I've got one for the front end as well. And lifting mode. So we've got all the modes. Yeah, pretty much everything. And of course, 'cause she's a millionth machine, we've got the plaque on the toolbox here. So that's also a nice touch. Yeah, really, really can't wait. I've got to collect a few buckets in a second. I'll show you the buckets I bought with it as well. And we'll collect them, wrap them up, and then we've got to get this thing back to the yard, because this afternoon, we don't waste any time, I've got some guys coming to do some like paintwork protection, a sort of ceramic coat, because I just want to try and preserve this yellow paintwork for as long as I can. So yeah, that's the next thing this afternoon. But yeah, big day this. It's been a long time coming, and I would never have thought really the little boy who wanted to always go around the factory, and then finally had to wait till I was 16 to be able to go around that factory, has now been around the factory, seen his own machine get built, and has then been able to sit in it today, and hopefully next week we'll take some, I say take some paint off it, I don't want to take paint off it, but certainly the buckets, and yeah, we'll put it to work and start earning some money with this beast. So yeah, what a day this is. Anyway, let's wrap some buckets up. So buckets, we've got, a lot of people ask me if I'm going to fit a tilt rotator to this. Well, maybe in the future, but for now I've spent enough money on this bit, and I can't afford to put another £25,000 on the end here. So I've gone for the tilt grader. Now, a couple of you might have seen a while ago, I had one of these. It was actually a prototype, which is why I didn't post about it at the time, but you might have seen it in the background of pictures and things. This is JCB's new grader, and I had a bit of input into the final sort of design on this. Now, I got the twin ram version. It's got dual blades. You can decide whether you want that or not, but I want decide to go with the twin blades. Really good for smoothing out topsoil and things, just where I see myself using this. Obviously, I've got the cutting edge as well. But what I really like about it is the build height is super sort of like compact over the top of the bucket and the pins and everything. So it's the tightest I've ever seen one. They improved the hose routing from what I originally sort of had on that prototype. That all got improved, and yeah, I think that's a well worth sort of addition, and worth having, of course, on this machine. You do need bi-directional pipe work, and the boys are just going to change the fittings over because we've realised that the hoses are the wrong way round. So anyway, they're sorting that out. We've also got a 6-foot ditcher for, well, 20% more ditching every time. And then over here, a couple more buckets as well. So a replacement, this actually is a 400, I think, not a 450, but sort of a replacement for my 450. The reason being is my 450 came out of a hedge from an old 3C we used to have at the farm. And I kind of resurrected it and got it going, but it doesn't have this cutout. And the old buckets, old JCB buckets, they will fit new machines. But something you might not know is that the new buckets have all got this cutout, and that's so that the quick hitch fits on the buckets the other way round. So whilst you can fit them the standard way with a quick hitch, you'll find that you can't put the bucket on backwards. Which is a problem with my old 450, and I've dented the back of it trying to do it, and yeah, anyway, we've got a new bucket. So we've got a new bucket, it was 400, it's a decent size for that kind of work, and we've got a new 900 digging bucket, because my other one is a Strickland, which is a good enough bucket, and I don't have a problem with it per se, but it's worn down quite a bit, the teeth and a lot of I did fit new teeth to it, but it's just had a had a hell of a life. The bottom of it's all stoved in, which was from its previous owner. But what I really want is a 900 digging bucket with teeth. And I would like a 900 digging bucket without teeth. So one of these buckets is going to be the one with teeth, probably this one because it's got brand new teeth fitted to it. And the one with the worn out teeth, the Strickland, will probably get a bladed edge fitted to it, because it's just a really handy thing to have, a bladed edged 900 bucket. So these are the buckets we've got. We've also got our yellow 600, because all new machines, I don't know why, come with a brand new 600 bucket. You can see there's another 4CX over there with the black one. Well, obviously we're Millionth here, so we get the 90s retro yellow bucket, which again is a new type, so very, very nice. Anyway, that's the attachments.